How to pass your Propfirm challenge in just a couple of days, the system behind it, and how I'm doing it, guys, in this new YouTube video. Let's go. So friends, I managed to pass my 400k challenge and verification in 2 days. So it took me 2 days to pass phase 1 and 2 days to pass phase 2. I had a 10% target on the phase 1 and a 5% on the second one. Now I'm going to explain you, friends, on how I'm going to pass it and how I pass it in this situation as well, because many people do have big problems in passing such a challenge because it's quite difficult. They don't know exactly what to do, and I'm going to explain you right now the reasons why you are failing it and how you can avoid failing those challenges. Step number 1, friends, is you need to be already a profitable and consistent trader. And this is probably the most important fact, because many people, they just go into the market buying challenges and then they're just going to fail it without even having a plan. So you need to have a well back-tested trading strategy where you already have experience in trading it. So 1 week back-testing something and you see how it works won't really help you in passing such a challenge, because they require quite high targets. 10% is not less. Now, if you want to flip an account where you are risking 100% of the account in order to gain 100% gain, is at the end just a 1-to-1 risk reward. This is nothing crazy, because I could have lose the whole account in a situation like this. But when it comes to Propfirm challenges, you need to gain 10% without losing 5% per day and 10% in general. Some of them offer you a 12% drawdown, but this is already quite hard in many scenarios, and this really requires you to be profitable, my friends. So what you're going to do is, before you're even going to go into these challenges, is first, as I mentioned, to look for a good mentor, good trading strategy, backtest that one as good as you can, and take your time, friends. Because everyone is just trying to be consistent in trading very fast, but that obviously doesn't work. Because passing the challenge is just the first thing, friends. Getting that into the funded stage and then actually being profitable and getting payouts on a regular basis is the next thing. So if you can't even pass the challenge like this, then you're not even able to successfully trade the funded account. It may work for a while, but also there very soon the down phase is going to come. The second step is actually following a strict risk and money management, friends. You need to have a plan on how you want to approach these challenges. As I said earlier already, 10% is actually quite big because it depends on the risk reward and how you want to achieve them. If you buy a challenge, it's not necessarily the best thing to risk the whole 5% in order to achieve the 10%. Me personally, I'm ready to risk 2, 3, or even 4% for the day in order to achieve that high target very soon, because I have the money for it and I'm able to lose the account without even thinking of it. But this is probably not for everyone, and I don't want to sound right now ridiculous or something like that. But for some people, it is better if they go there not with a high risk approach, because losing that money may be not the best for them. For me, I have a different money management because I already have funded accounts where I get payouts already. So for me, losing an account is nothing very bad, because if I just can manage to make 1 payout, I can buy 10 or 20 of these challenges with the highest price. So I don't really care about losing such a challenge, but for the majority of the traders, maybe that is the case. And for me, a couple years ago, it was the same. So I didn't really want to lose the account like this. And this is in general stupid to go for this approach, but for me, I want to make money by trading these Propfirm accounts, and I don't want to waste too much time with just spending, oh, can I pass it or not, and then chilling around. Also for me, sometimes it happens that I come in a drawdown very fast, and then it takes time for me to come out of the drawdown, and that's the only phase when I'm trading a funded challenge or verification for a longer time period, because I was very fast in a drawdown. So my risk management behind it and how I'm using it and how I advise it for you to do as well is that you don't go with the full risk at the beginning. Even though if you do so, after you've reached around your daily drawdown, which is 5% usually, if you came across that level, you should definitely reduce your risk, and that's what I'm doing as well. So for everyone out there, probably the best approach is actually to go for a 1% or a 0.5% risk per trade, and then you see what happens. If you made a loss, define for yourself a limit at what kind of percentage in drawdown you're going to reduce your risk per 50%. So you should take only half of it for the next trade. That way you will prevent yourself from even losing a challenge anymore, because if you think of it in a logic mathematical way, if you always reduce it by half, as more you go into the drawdown, it's impossible for you to lose it. Of course, it's also going to get to some degree a little bit higher to come out of the drawdown, but if you have a positive RR ratio in your trading setups and you follow your plan strictly and your trading plan and trading strategy actually works, this should not be an issue at all. So you should rethink what you're doing wrong. And that is the next thing, guys. If you're losing a funded challenge or verification, make sure that you have noted why. Because in reality, we all know why we haven't reached the profit target and why we actually lost the challenge due to exceeding the maximum loss. And the reason for it is where we're often emotional control. We don't control it the right way, which means we're going to take too much trades in a row, revenge trading, FOMO buying, selling, and so on. Even if we use the right risk management, let's say you're only risking strictly 1% per trade, you will actually come very, very fast to your maximum loss if you can control your emotions. Even with the right risk management, it won't work. So you see that these two things really hang together, and it's important that you control both of these. So, friends, what I want to advise you is actually that you are going to find your system by your own. There are a lot of options on how you're going to manage the risk and so on, and I've explained to you right now already a few of them. Now personally, how I'm doing it is I really risk up to 4% per trade in order for me to just go for a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 and to go for the profit target in 1 or 2 days. And I also take 1 or 2 trades per day, trading the London and the New York session. But this is probably not the best approach for everyone, because I want to give you right now the advice that I'm in a position which not everybody has, and therefore comparing with me is probably not the best. So this is why this YouTube video should be not only about how I reached it, because those are the latest trades that I did took, and we'll go over them as well, but this video should be more than likely about helping you to find your own system, because you should just listen to what I've said and try to build your own one. So have a specific plan on how you want to reach them, and this is something which I can tell you what you should do, because every person is a little bit different. Also me, I used always multiple versions of my risk management in order to pass my funded challenges and verifications. I just want to give you a little bit of background knowledge about how I've gone through these things already multiple times, because also me, I've lost ton of challenges already. So you should also never give up if you've lost a challenge or a verification. Very often it happens in the verification phase that you're losing because of the reversed psychology. So all in all, friends, approaching these challenges is definitely nothing too easy, especially if you're not really experienced in the market. Later on, it's going to be easier for you. You will have more confidence because you've done it already a couple of times. And that's what you should always have in your mind. So at the end, you just need to keep going, friends. Have a plan. If the plan doesn't feel good to you, if you're getting too emotional trying to follow this plan, then it's probably not the plan for you. I think the best approach is always to go with a 1% risk at the first trade. If you see it's getting successful, then you can even double your risk to 2% in order to come very close or faster to the TP level. So you should have, if you're trading a challenge, a more aggressive approach over trading on a funded account. Because on a funded account, you don't need to reach a 10% target. Let's be honest, 10%, if you can reach that on a monthly basis, this is quite high for the best traders out there as well. Even me, I'm not going for that high target on a monthly basis on all of my accounts. I go maximum for around 5, 6, or 7%, something like that. but I'm never going for 10% or more. Sometimes I do, but this is not something which I'm doing on a regular basis. But in the Propfirm challenges, you need to do it. And now you know also why, because it's super unrealistic. And in order to achieve that, guys, you should just use an increased risk in order to come closer to that goal. So my approach and my ideas in general, try to see how the first trade is going. If you are in profit, you can always risk that one profit that you've made in order to potentially reach your profit target in just the next trade, or maybe in the next 2 trades. Have a plan like this. Let's see how it works for you, because also if you don't have a trading strategy with a high win rate, then this approach is not the best to increase then your risk, obviously, because if you have a win rate of below 50%, let's say 30, 20%, then obviously from the mathematical logic, it doesn't make any sense for you to start increasing your risk. You should remain at the same risk, and if you're getting into a losing period, like you're getting in a drawdown, you should stop using the same risk and you should reduce it by half. So that's like kind of the mechanics that you can use. Whenever you're in a loss, you just reduce it as by 0.5%, or by half in general, like I mentioned already. And once you're in profit, you can actually increase it, but only if you have a high win rate strategy. I hope that you can find this helpful, what I've just mentioned.